The patron-client system in ancient Roman society was a distinctive relationship between a patron and his client. A Roman who wanted to move up the social scale had to attach himself to a man of some eminence. Clients were loyal supporters of high-standing families and their patron. For this loyalty, the patron rewarded them with gifts of food and land. If a client needed any sort of legal representation or aid, they called upon their patron for support. Client families might be lent money, seed, or goods by the patron in order to see them through bad seasons, often in return for the unpaid labor of client family members. This relationship was recognized by law in the 5th century BC, and by the 1st century BC it became hereditary. The patron might support his client in the courts, or supply him with daily food, often converted into cash, or sportula in Latin. On holidays and the New Year, the sportula was larger than normal. After sunrise, the great men of Rome had held a salutatio, a ceremony of greeting where his clients would gather around outside his house, eager to be admitted. Under the empire, clients were often looked upon as parasites, and they were made fun of in comedy. Because of their duty of salutatio, they were sometimes called salutores, or greeters, or togati, because they were required to wear the toga when it was out of fashion. The toga was an expensive form of dress unsuited for the Italian climate. Some examples of client-patron relationships include former slaves and previous owners, landowners and their tenant farmers, members of the aristocracy and artists, and members of the aristocracy and writers. Marius said that once a man reached the curule rank, consul, dictator, interrex, praetor, magister equitum, or curule aedile, he could no longer be a client. There were basically two classes in ancient Roman society, the upper class and the lower class. Interestingly enough, a patron could have his own patron, and a client could therefore have his own client. The political influence exercised by patrons over their clients was of considerable importance in the voting conducted in public assemblies, or comitia, under the Republic. A patron's clients, along with slaves, marched in front of and behind the patron, helping to elbow aside the crowd as he made his rounds. If he did not release them before noon, he felt obligated to provide lunch for them. By the end of the Republic, the client-patron relationship had lost most of its more tangible, practical features. It had devolved into a status arrangement whereby the ambitious politician acquired as many clients as he could, who would swarm around him as he traveled each morning to the forum, making him appear influential and popular. Through all of this, the patron was uneasily aware of the fact that his clients did not have any affection for him as a person. They were less interested in friendship and more interested in what they could get out of him. There was also patronage in the arts, where a patron provided the wherewithal to allow the artist to create in comfort. The work of the art or book would then be dedicated to the patron. The extension of the system to client nations was a cardinal feature of the growth and maintenance of Roman power under Julius Caesar and the emperors. Another interesting fun fact: in the courts, no evidence could be given by patron or client against each other. Gaius Maecenas was an ally, friend, and political advisor to Octavian, as well as an important patron for the new generation of Augustan poets, including both Horace and Virgil. Maecenas was a very famous patron of the arts.